Welcome, everybody. This is Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Nick DiLorenzo. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about movie news, our thoughts on the Thor trailer. Then we're going to be talking about bad movies with fantastic music. And then we got a game at the end, so stick around. Once again, I'm your host, Nick DiLorenzo. To my right, we have our panelists. We have Matt Diaz back. Thank you for joining us once again. We have Beth Brewster and Chris Nielsen in his signature spot, right where we like him. No, it's good. No.
You want to switch right now?
Yeah. I like this.
No, we have mics.
Please, for the sake of the show, do not move. Okay. Okay, so I guess we should jump right into it. We're going to go into some movie news. Kind of related to our last episode, we kind of gave our thoughts on the Ghost in the Shell review, the movie, and wasn't necessarily popular with the people from our show, but it's doing quite well overseas. It's #1 currently across the board. Thoughts? Matt, we'll start with you.
I haven't personally seen the movie yet, but I can only assume that it makes sense that, maybe not make sense, but I can see why, just by visually, that the movie can maybe do well overseas. And also, I'm not sure what other movies came out overseas there, so that could have contributed to it. But we have like a lot of big movies that are coming out on our end. I mean, I was actually surprised to see Boss Baby hit #1 over The Ghost in the Shell, and I guess families want to go over some. Parents rather go see, families are going to go see Boss Baby rather than sci-fi people want to go see a good sci-fi. So I'm not too surprised that that's #1 overseas.
Sci-fi people don't have families.
Yeah, they don't have families. No, they don't.
That's an actual scientific fact.
Oh,
so,
that
that's
makes
cool.
sense. Yeah.
Beth?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as him. I haven't seen it, but I personally thought it looked interesting. But I just think like a lot of movies came out recently over like the same weekend in America that just kind of overtook that. Like it wasn't in the forefront of my mind either. So I think that was the big part of it.
Chris?
I saw it. I didn't like it. But I can see why it would be a. I mean, it's already an international property, so why not make it an international hit? I don't know. So I guess it's like, and stuff that's just like visual like that, it's just easily translatable. They took a lot of the, the substance out of the whole story, so they just kept it in a very good-looking, neat package, and everybody can appreciate that, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it looks visually well
And
done.
it's a property
it was.
that's well known out of the
Right,
U.S., so
exactly.
I'm sure that helps contribute. All right, so we'll move on to the next story. So Wreck-It Ralph, this was probably like a week or so now, was announced a sequel taking place kind of like in the world of the internet. So it's like Wreck-It Ralph 2. I think it breaks the internet, I believe is like the title as of now. Yeah, so he's not going to wreck it, he's going to break it.
Well, that's good.
So Break It Ralph.
Yeah, Break It Ralph.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go this way. Chris, like initial thoughts? Like,
I'm glad to see a sequel because I
fan of the first one.
Yeah, it was really good. It's maybe we'll get a chance to see some more like video game characters that we know and love. That like now that people know it's like an established franchise and it did well for the first movie. Maybe they'll be a little bit more like generous in providing those characters. Like I see Sonic right there. I'm not sure if he was in the first one or not. I think Eggman was.
Second he was.
Yeah, Sonic was in it. He's like, you should. I forgot what he was doing, but he was like in the terminal.
Yeah, his villain definitely was when they
Yeah.
had the whole villain thing. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I thought it was a great movie.
all right, Beth?
Personally, I know this isn't popular opinion, but I didn't like love it. I thought it was good, but I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But I didn't like love it. So I mean, maybe I'd give it a second chance just because they are making a second movie. So
Are you surprised it's
maybe
getting a
there's
sequel?
something. Not really, because I know it is so popular and everyone keeps talking about it. But
It's
I'm
Disney
willing to
Animation.
give it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that.
Do we think this is a clever route to be taking? So like we've done the video game and now we're going kind of Wreck-It Ralph running around on Facebook, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Well, internet games. They're
Matt,
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
they
Yeah.
abound.
Yeah.
I loved the first movie. I thought it had a good, in a sense, like Pixar feel. They kind of took the approach of what if, and that what if was with the video game aspect of it, and like how's that world kind of behind the scenes aspect of it. And I thought the world building was fantastic. The characters were great. The story was really great. I thought it got gypped for an Oscar win when it was nominated. It was nominated, but it went to Brave instead of Wreck-It Ralph, and I thought Wreck-It Ralph should have won. But I can understand because Brave was like animation was a lot better than, but Wreck-It Ralph had a better story. So it's kind of which one you're gonna go with. But as far as the sequel, I'm so excited for a sequel, and I was like, you kind of like when you're a gamer. Like when you think of like arcade games, it was kind of centered to those games in the arcade. So when you take that and you put it into what today's generation knows as gaming, as far as like consoles and the internet, I think it's a great approach, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for the sequel.
Where is there a certain direction to really kind of like after given this information? Is there a direction you'd really like to see them go?
If I had to, maybe see where this is going, maybe Wreck-It Ralph went from an arcade game to it was remastered to a console game, and maybe somehow those characters kind of got transitioned into the console world and to the internet, and then we kind of see him not only exploring what can be done with his own game, but now we can see there's an endless amount of possibilities that they can go from. So like the first one's really grounded, but the second one, the sequel, looks like it could go anywhere.
See, I like the idea. I think they should delve into online multiplayer.
Yes,
like him show up and why is everybody being so mean to me?
Yeah.
What is a noob?
Yeah.
Like, why is everybody? Because
Yeah.
I mean that's like something
Yeah.
that you just go on there and you just have like you either have like a really old 40-year-old guy yelling at you
Yeah.
or like a 12-year-old. So I think that goes with it being on the internet the whole.
Yeah, and they
so.
they can really have some fun with it because like those avatars could take the persona of the person. So the going back
Yeah.
to saying why are they yelling at me, they can really play along with that. So again, like
That's a good point too, like because it was an old arcade game, so it might be like them trying to modernize and make it for a whole new generation. So they make it like a PC game, and then
They did kind of have that in the first one with like Jane Lynch's character, her video game.
she was a new-
seemed
new
pretty
arcade
like
game.
Gears of War kind of vibe to it. So I mean, they kind of had that already. For them to even like maybe go back to her game and then like go into the multiplayer aspect of it, that'd
Yeah.
be really cool to do. Like you said, there's like they only delved in the arcade video games, and since
Yeah.
then, since arcade video games like occurred, like, we've had a bunch. We're dealing with VR right now. There's a lot they can do.
They could
So-
even dive into that if they wanted to, but there's so many possibilities. It's hard to see where they're going with it, but I'm excited that they even had a sequel, because this is actually the first sequel to come out since the Disney animation
Right.
kind of had their new renaissance. Like they kind of started with, some say Princess and the Frog or some say Tangled, but ever since then you got Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, and so this is the first sequel they're coming out with, so I'm excited.
yeah, it'll be exciting to see how it turns out. So next we have the passing of Don Rickles this past week. It was, I believe, last Thursday. It was kind of announced. So obviously kind of, well, unexpected. He died at 90, famous comedian. I mean, do we have any thoughts, like favorite franchises or properties he's worked on? Toy Story, which actually will bring us nicely into the next story, which is, so Toy Story 4 was announced that he hadn't been brought in yet to do his dialogue for his beloved character, Mr. Potato Head. And the story's still, like, nothing's been released on what Toy Story 4 will be kind of revolved around. I believe I read somewhere where they'll be searching for Bo Peep, like the one toy that's been given away. But in regards, and this has happened for Toy Story 3, the actor who portrayed Slinky in the original 2 had passed away. So they had, I believe they were close friends, so they had brought in another actor to kind of voice his character there. Do we kind of see that happening with Mr. Potato Head, or do you think they'll, because it's so early on, they might rewrite the character to maybe give like a little bit more of a tribute?
I mean, they said he didn't record any dialogue specifically for Toy Story 4. That's not to say that there hasn't been dialogue that they didn't use in 1, 2, and 3 that maybe
That's a
they
good
could
point.
use for him. So that would be nice. But then again, it seemed like at the end of Toy Story 3, a lot of us thought that it was just going to end, right? The
Yeah.
whole franchise.
Yeah.
So maybe this might be a time for them to kind of phase some toys out and bring some others in, and maybe keep Mr. Potato Head in like a very small like background portion. Like maybe he's still there or something like that, but it'd be tough to do it without Don Rickles. So I don't know.
I mean, I think they could do the thing that they did with Slinky if they gave it some time, because it's probably not going to be coming out for a while now. Like, this probably pushes back their plans.
I think it's 2019. It's
Yeah,
scheduled
20
right
so
now.
that's-
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I
another
mean,
good
that's
2
still
years,
quite
yeah.
a bit of time. So, I mean, I think that they will try and find somebody to revoice this, just because they also need that character of Mr. Potato Head that's a little bit like, I don't know, sassy, I guess is the word for it. It just kind of adds to the characters. So if they don't have that, they'll add another character that's like that, I
Right,
think.
because I believe in Toy Story 3, there were a couple characters that just didn't return. And if I remember correctly, they did a nice job of kind of like acknowledging these characters that have kind of come and went in kind of like a nice touching way, again, which kind of led us all to believe, like, we all kind of thought Toy Story 3 was, and I believe at some point Pixar did too. That was like the end of the end of the franchise. So they might, I can see them maybe having like a new character brought in to kind of fulfill that role. But
Wisecracker.
yeah, something like that. So Matt,
Yeah, I'm sorry. As far as like the passing of Don Rickles, like he was 90 years old, and most of his work was in the early like 50s, 60s, 70s. So like as far as like our generation, we didn't really grow up with Don Rickles, but I know like a lot of parents and like fathers and like the kind of older generations, then they knew him on a different level. But for most of us, and that's why we're kind of talking about it the most, we knew him as Mr. Potato Head as in Toy Story, and that's pretty much my only connection to him. And so the fact to hear that, you know, because he was pretty much a staple for the entire franchise. He was like almost kind of sort of the comic relief in sorts. He was one of them anyway. There were many. Like he kind of went back and forth with Ham, who's the pig. So just to hear that, you know, it won't be the same voice, it's kind of hard to hear that, because, you know, it's kind of like saying, well, if Tom Hanks died, are you going to still cast a different Woody? That's hard.
He's
hard
the
to
main character.
He is, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
He is the main character.
Front and center, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, Mr. Potato Head is a sideline, so we can probably get away with maybe giving him less lines. But I think that, you know, a nice tribute, or maybe like, because the Bonnie is a female, and we've seen, you know, them playing with toys. Maybe maybe they can make it a way that he is. She's not his favorite anymore. Not the favorite, but like you know, move on to maybe more girl toys, or depending on which time they decide to go on, and maybe put him on the shelf. And
yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do with it. And
yeah,
I think Don Rickles was a masterful comedian.
Yeah.
I didn't know him mostly from his roles and stuff like that, but I like watching a lot of like late night and stuff like that. So
Right,
his appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson were hilarious to just see his interactions with them, or Don Rickles' interaction with anybody, because his whole thing was just being like mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
roasting
that was
But it's
people.
like,
style,
but
yeah.
it takes a really like masterful comedian to actually just go right up to somebody, say I don't like you, and have them still like you.
Yeah.
Like he was able
Yeah.
to do that. He was able to be this like wisecracking, like he could put you down, but also make you feel like you're up high. Like, you know, you just like
That's true.
he was friends with Frank Sinatra, and he talked down to Frank Sinatra. You know, like he's like, and that's not somebody you want to talk
Yeah.
down to.
I know Jimmy Kimmel had a really nice like monologue devoted
yeah,
to Don Rickles.
if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really
I did see that. It was
Yeah,
very
I think
good.
the best story that he said was that Frank Sinatra was in a restaurant, and he was like kind of get really mad, and he ended up throwing a ketchup bottle to the wall, and then the first thing Don Rickles said was, "Can you pass the ketchup?"
Yeah,
And that's kind of like his wit, and that's kind of what you saw like with Mr. Potato Head. He was really quick with those comebacks, and that just kind of like that is Don Rickles, and so it's sad to see it go. I really hope that they do that character justice when it's time.
Yeah, no, great career, and as we've seen from some like the late night guys and stuff, they're keeping the memory alive.
Right.
So we'll move on, kind of in a similar trend. So it was announced that Carrie Fisher's character, Princess Leia, will have a prominent role in not only 8 but 9, which was a kind of thing that was thrown up in the air. I know a lot of people kind of thought they might rewrite it a little bit and kind of move her into a very little role, if anything, in Episode 9. But now it was announced that she'll have a significant role, and just kind of
With no
brief thoughts.
CG.
Yeah, that was also thank you. That was an important detail that was also revealed. Matt, what are we?
I think it's
thinking?
great that I'm sure there was a lot of rewriting of the script.
There had to be modifications.
They had to have been, and then the fact that they were able to not only rewrite the script to, as of right now, from what we know, to include the footage that they had of Carrie Fisher in 8, but it looks like they maybe cut some up and like let's save some for 9, so she's in the trilogy, and then they might have a wrap up for her in some way, shape, or form for 9. Again, it's kind of a theory, but I think it's great that they were able to not use CG because they did it for Rogue One, and it looked great for Rogue One, and they could do it again if they wanted to, but they decided to not do that and salvage the footage they had and it kind of span it out into 2 films. I think it was a smart choice on their part.
All right, Beth?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I think it's not going to be the same when I watch it. Like, I'm not going to get that same feeling just because I know she has passed away. So I think that's kind of the hard part, but I know she is important to the story, especially since they've also killed off Han Solo on the movie. So she's kind of like a very prominent character now. Sorry, spoiler.
It's been out for like a year and a half.
Yes, you've had time.
Yeah, you have time to watch it.
It's your fault if you haven't
So
seen
yeah,
it.
I'm just kind of surprised. So I think it depends on how they portray her and how much they portray her in the movie.
Chris?
Yeah, I think what they probably will do is take what she had, her subplot in episode 8, and just kind of extend it to, I'm sure that she had some sort of arc of some kind in episode 8, and they might just take it so you see a little bit of it in episode 8, and then they drag that part in for like the beginning of episode 9. Because if they're not doing any new footage, all they shot for her was what's supposed to be episode 8.
Right, yeah.
So
they might be kind of reorganizing a little bit, yeah.
I feel bad for Ryan Johnson and Colin Edwards for both having to, or Colin Trevorrow, my bad. Yeah. Colin Trevorrow, the two directors of episode 8 and 9 for having to do this. I feel like the movies are spilling into each other now. But I mean, that's what you have to do when you have somebody as momentous as Carrie Fisher die, and you have to.
No, it's a good point. And I think it would be an interesting tactic because I'm sure a bunch of stuff just kind of flew through their heads, like options they could take. So it'll be, again, interesting to see what they do with it.
It's good they didn't have CG, though, I think.
Yeah. We're going to actually take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Thor trailer that was recently released and kind of give our thoughts on that. So stick around.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Do you like sports? Do you like reading about sports? Then we got a sports blog just for you. Stay on my peripherals. That's not fun. Hitting the field.
The first student-run sports blog.
For sports fans.
By sports fans.
See, it's all about the product shot.
Where do you want me to stand?
Don't talk though. I want them to see the whole.
Hitting the field. We cover football. We cover basketball. And so much more. He's out.
By sports reporters. And Meech.
What up? Watch the show and read the sports blog. Hitting.
Field.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Credits. Once again, I'm your host, Nick DeLorenzo. To my right, we have Chris Nielsen, Beth Brewster, Matt Diaz joining me today. We are going to kind of dive into our thoughts on the Thor Ragnarok trailer. So it was just released and doing quite well. I mean, more than enough views, which probably most of it from the crew and us.
I easily
being honest.
contributed like about 1 million of those.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Yes!
As you're watching the trailer
I know
nonstop.
him! He's a friend from work.
Okay, so initial thoughts. So we kind of knew a little bit what the story's gonna because we have that it's based off of kind of the vision he has in Ultron. So that was gonna spin off into this Thor Ragnarok movie, and then we've had the photos recently released You see Thor's hair chopped off. And then we get this trailer. So, like, Matt, what are our thoughts now that we've seen first look?
I'm excited for this movie. I liked Thor 1, thought it was good. I was not a big fan of Thor 2, and so when I heard Thor 3, and I was like, yeah, you know what, it would be like another addition to the Marvel franchise. But then when you find out that like they're gonna put the Hulk in it, it's gonna have a different story, a different style, and then when you see the first trailer, I'm like, wow, I'm ready to see this new Thor movie. I'm beyond excited for it, which I didn't see it because like I feel like Thor was like out of the main 3, that was like the lesser end of the of the main 3 there. So I'm really excited for this movie. I thought the trailer really set the tone. It had a little bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, which I know a lot of people have said that, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that it's like definitely a fresh look into Thor, and I also from the trailer it looked like they're taking the same approach as Iron Man 3, and the fact that when you take the hero out of his element, what does he become after that?
That's a good point, yeah.
So I think that's like in Iron Man 3 they took him out of the armor, so basically he was using his wit and his smarts to like come up with these different gadgets from a garage, and that's who Tony Stark is. And so like now we're kind of seeing from the trailer, when you take away Thor's hammer and you take away his kingdom, what are you from there? And so we're kind of diving into that.
Just Odinson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually so it's 136 million views within the first few hours.
Wow.
Beating out Force Awakens, Beauty and the Beast, first 24 hours.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Civil War. So
It beat Force Awakens though. That broke
within
the internet.
the span of time, I don't know like
Within
total
you
views.
said
No,
within
yeah, I
24
know.
hours,
For as
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but I thought it like broke some. I'm not.
It seems like every new trailer comes up breaks the new record.
Yeah,
so I guess
exactly, yeah.
more and more people are being like, oh, trailers on YouTube, that's a thing. So we'll just log on.
So this was faster than Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't know about
trailer?
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Okay.
but Civil War and Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
Look that up,
Wow.
people in the back.
Yeah, we'll work on that. So no, but to your point of the tone, it did seem it had a very Guardians kind of feel, which would make sense because eventually they're gonna meet. Like
Yeah.
they're playing
Right.
like Infinity Wars, and there's already been little crossovers. Like in the after credits, you see like some characters from Thor coming to the Collector, I believe. So like they're all in space, and they kind of take place obviously in the same universe. So to kind of maybe gear it towards a little more of the Guardians tone. I mean, it seems
Yeah,
like
I think that makes
move.
sense.
Yeah,
It seems
makes
like
sense.
what was happening in space is colliding, because like what they kind of showed already in Thor was like this very like royal side and like
Right, right.
the upper echelon of alien beings are in this like grand golden palace.
Yeah.
And then you take it into Guardians and they go to this really murky like mining town that's shaped like a skull. So I feel like what Ragnarok is doing is kind of bringing those together. The thing I'm most excited about, though, a lot of people have been wanting a Planet Hulk movie for forever, including me.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get a Planet Hulk movie, but we have this movie and it's close enough.
Yeah,
'Cause, the big scene I think the big scene in the trailer is seeing the gladiatorial match about to start between Thor and
Thor walking
Hulk.
into the arena.
Yeah. And so Thor wasn't originally in this Planet Hulk storyline, but adding him into this whole gladiatorial combat thing it just seems pretty cool. And just seeing the line that I said earlier, just like him recognizing it's like a friend from work or something like that. That's
And I loved how like that was my first reaction when you see Thor. Hulk. Come, yeah, like yes, and then he goes yes. I'm like that's exactly my thought.
Thor
and, like,
and me, we're the same.
yeah, we're the same. And then like the crowd's like, why is he cheering? Like
Yeah.
we know him. Yeah, we're good best buddies.
Side note, that's very memeable already.
Yes,
There's already
yeah.
videos of
Yeah.
like it opening against John Cena and instead of the Hulk. It's
And the fact that can already be, like you said, memeable, that shows that this trailer and this movie has something, and hopefully it has more to offer once the full movie comes out in November.
Have you guys seen anything that Taika Waititi has come out with though? He's the director of of Thor Ragnarok, and he did a movie called What We Do in the Shadows, which is a very funny movie about vampires. And then a good movie about vampires, guys. And then he did a movie called Hunt for the Wilder People, which was had like Sam Neill in it, the New Zealand films, I guess. And he works with the Fly the Conchords people a lot. He's a very funny guy, and he's a very good filmmaker. I've loved the past 2 things that he's come out with. So they have a very good directorial eye behind this movie. Because from what we saw, I mean, they could just be a good trailer, but
That's very true.
I think the movie has the right foundation
Yeah.
in this director to kind of guide this not so like well performing part of the MCU, because like you said, Thor's have been on like the lower.
Yeah.
I agree.
And,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thor
Beth,
is
what are
like
you, like, favorite
probably like.
moments from?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, you had a thought. I was gonna
No,
throw
no,
it
go
to
ahead,
you.
go ahead,
Please,
go ahead.
completely go. No.
I was just saying that Thor is probably my least favorite of the Avenger movies, like outside. So, but this one actually looks really interesting. I think it has the potential to be the best of all the Thor movies. I like that they're adding more humor and doing like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the humor in it.
Who doesn't?
The music and everything. So I like that they're taking that spin on it.
That's it. So now, from the trailer specifically, were there any favorite moments like that completely? Because in the beginning, there's this interesting choice where you have Thor narrating, which I think
Yeah.
was like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
been done in movies before, but not necessarily with this kind of especially with the Thor movies, which have always had like this more like serious kind of like this royal big theme to them. And then to have it more of like a, hey guys, so I bet you're wondering how this happened.
Yeah.
You know, like that threw me. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that from this trailer. And then there was again that great moment where he kind of goes in and his reaction to Hulk is not what you expect, you know? So I think like you, to your point, it does have much more of that humor from Guardians, and you're thinking that's a good move.
Yeah, I mean, I always love when they add like humor and action together and don't make it like too serious. I think it just makes it more interesting.
I mean, you are dealing with a big green guy and a
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hella excited for the villain.
Now,
Name's Hella. There we go. Yeah. No, but it's cool because Cate Blanchett, I feel like her villainous role in Indiana Jones 4 was kind of squandered. And so to see her in this, she's got the acting chops. Like, she's playing Dark Galadriel in this, it seems. So, no, but I think it's going to be exciting because we haven't yet had a main female villain before, and I mean, villains are always getting, you know, I don't know. We
Tossed
don't,
or-
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
it-
we don't like they're weak. Everybody says the MCU villains are weak. So Cate Blanchett definitely has the acting chops to give us something, but time and time again, it really relies on the writers. So
No, it does. And like even so, like you talk about narration in going back to Iron Man 3, he narrated that trailer.
That's a good
He
point.
narrated the movie.
Yeah.
So again, I feel like we might
we
be taking.
create our own demons.
Yeah. And so, and also, not only did he narrate it, but the Mandarin also narrated parts of I think maybe another Iron Man 3 trailer.
True,
but
yeah.
I'm
Never
hoping
see
that.
it coming.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you want to do
Yeah,
an impression
yeah.
of
Some called me a teacher. Yeah, exactly. But when we go back to the villains, I thought that the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 was going to be the villain to look at, and then you saw the approach they went with that. So
Yeah.
hopefully, because that was a villain to really take down Tony Stark and strip him to what just a man, and so I feel like Cate Blanchett's villain, you know, her portrayal, you already set the tone. Like, I just destroyed your hammer. This is what makes you a god. Now
Yeah.
what? And so now hopefully they stick to that, and that she is a real threat and not like what they did with Iron Man 3.
And what I did like, and I know this is just a teaser trailer, so I'm sure there's more
Right, there's
trailers
good-
to
yeah.
come. But they didn't really give you any of like the storyline, which I thought was nice. They gave you some moments, and like you can kind of piece together what might be happening.
Yeah,
but like
But it seems all jumbled up. You know they're going to go to New
Yeah.
York and Doctor Strange, yet they're in,
Exactly, and they don't touch upon anything about Doctor Strange or Odin, which I thought
Right,
was
yeah.
like because normally in the Marvel trailers you'll have like, you know, this happening and then somebody says something that sets up the next scene in the trailer. And this one was very much just kind of like, look, we got a great villain, bam, destroys the hammer, and then, you know, oh, Hulk is in it. And there's these great moments that get you excited for it without giving away any of the storyline. Now, are we hoping that kind of stays that way, or would you like to kind of?
Well, yeah, like you were saying,
Yeah.
it does seem like Hela is going to be a very formidable villain, but we have one of the most successful MCU villains in this movie,
Yes.
Loki, coming back. He's also a fan favorite, more so than Thor. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more Loki
Loki
fans
fans
than
yeah.
Thor
Oh,
fans.
yeah.
Truth, yeah.
So
the Thor
we-
series has had luck with villains. Yeah.
Yeah, we might see Loki.
Well, luck with that
play-
villain.
That's true. Yeah, but he was in the second one, so.
Right, but never mind. I mean, you were saying.
I don't know. I'm lost there. But no, like, Loki might play the same role as Aldrich Killian did in Iron Man 3, where he became more of like the real villain, and
Right.
like, they kind of push Hela to the side, like they push
true,
Mandarin to the
yeah.
side. Hopefully they don't, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like what I've seen of Cate Blanchett so far. Yeah, I liked Tom Hiddleston. Maybe in the comics she's supposed to be his daughter, but I don't see that really.
The daughter
of Loki.
Loki.
Of Loki.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Don't really see that happening. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Tom Hiddleston is a decent amount younger than Kate Blanchett. I don't know, but if they do that, then it might be like a father and son, you know, bonding together to take down the son of Odin. I don't know.
I think it was interesting that, I think I think he is more popular than Thor in this MCU, and we only seen him once in a slow-mo walk up, and he's like flipping knives around, and then that's all we see of him. So the fact that like he's a well-known character in the MCU. He's been in Thor 2, and Avengers, and the fact that they kind of didn't really focus anything on him. I thought we might have seen a little bit more like interaction with Loki because he's so popular, and they almost kind of sidelined him and put a lot of tension into Kate Blanchett's character. So I'm hoping, in a way, that even though I love to see Tom Hiddleston as Loki, he takes a little bit of a back seat on this, because he had 3 movies to shine, and let's give another villain a shot who's actually a really good villain and poses a good threat to Thor.
No,
They're
great
hiding
point.
the Odin subplot.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
no,
yes.
that's-
He's
yeah,
ingrained
I-
with the Odins. That's why we haven't seen Anthony Hopkins that much and only
Yeah.
see a glimpse of Loki. And then, spoiler, we might be seeing Loki as Odin,
yeah.
for a lot of the film. So Anthony Hopkins might be more villainous in this. We get to see like
That
the
could be cool.
villainy spread between like 3 different, Asgardians.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go to break. Make sure to leave your live comments, your thoughts on the trailer. We'll be responding to those. And then when we come back, we're actually going to be talking about bad movies that we thought had fantastic music. So we're gonna have that discussion when we come back. So stick around.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Lake Claire's Universities of Central Florida's place for relaxation, tranquility, and a good time. Students who crave the outdoors can experience the wonders of Lake Claire and all the benefits it has to offer. Lake Claire offers a wide variety of kayaks, wakeboards, canoes, and much, much more. All of this is free for UCF students and can be rented out every day of the year except for on football game days. Students can take advantage of the wide open spaces and throw around a frisbee with your friends, or attack the ball with our sandy volleyball court. Come by the dock, sit down, and enjoy the beautiful view of Lake Claire's clear blue waters. Located just off the side of Gemini Boulevard and Greek Park Drive, this bubble of nature is one you must check out after finals week. For more information and rentals, visit our website so you can enjoy Lake Claire today.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Once again, this is Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Nick DiLorenzo. To my right, we have Chris Nielsen, Beth Brewster, and Matt Diaz sticking around for the rest of the show. We're gonna be talking about bad movies that had fantastic music, so kind of the contrast there. And I know we've gone over on the show before how important like a film soundtrack is and the role it can play and how it makes a movie great. But we've come up with some examples of movies that we didn't think were the best, but did have great music. So Matt, what do you got?
So the first one that kind of came to mind is fairly recent. It was with Suicide Squad. And with Suicide Squad, I was given it high hopes when I went to go see the movie. But before we saw like trailers of the movie, before we actually saw the movie, we heard the soundtrack of the film. And there were at least 3 songs, I think Imagine Dragons, Sucker for Pain, 21 Pilots. The title escapes me right now.
Heathens, right?
Heathens, yeah. Both of those songs were hits on the radio, and that came from the Suicide Squad soundtrack, and all the rest of the songs. They had Panic at the Disco in there, doing a Bohemian Rhapsody song, and I think Sia was also on the soundtrack. Purple Lamborghini with Rick Ross, yeah. And
Skrillex.
Yeah, Skrillex. So I mean, there was a lot of great music in there, and they used most of it in the film, and it played well. But yeah, the movie was just bad.
They even had Spirit in the Sky and Fortunate Son, like classic songs
yes,
too.
classics were in there too.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt like he was like, oh wow, this was a really good soundtrack, which I own. It's not the movie was not the best. I mean, there were good elements in the film, but definitely not. I think the soundtrack, they put a lot more work into the soundtrack than they did with the story of this movie.
Do you like the score of it? Because this is the soundtrack, but do you like I didn't really think it was memorable. But
the score was not memorable. There was one scene at the very end, the slow motion when the bomb is being thrown. I wish I can. It's not memorable, but I do know that's not the one that stands out to me the most. I was like, wow, this is actually a nice score for this scene. Is like dramatic and slow motion. Is like, what's gonna happen? Which we all know is gonna happen. But
which was interesting because I remember when I first saw the trailer, it kind of felt like DC was kind of going for more of the. Because when Guardians came out, they used all these classic songs during these like action sequences in the trailer. So when they did that with Suicide Squad, it was kind of, I think they were shooting for something a little similar.
Yeah.
But
they did more modern songs though, because like the songs in Guardians were like ingrained with what he had on his 8-track.
Right.
Yeah.
They had a little bit more leeway. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And moving on, Beth, what about you?
One of the ones that I thought of was Daredevil, the movie, not the TV show. Just because it's got like that early 2000s kind of like rock sound to it, which I always like in superhero movies. But it's not a great movie. I mean, you watch it and you're kind of like, like you just didn't get anything from it, you know. I feel like it's one of those soundtracks that you would listen to in like a theme park or something while you're waiting in line, and they have like the soundtrack of Daredevil playing in the superhero world or whatever. So that's personally why I like it. I just think of theme parks.
So you're but the movie didn't really work for you.
No, not at all. I mean, I love Jennifer Garner, so I feel bad because she's like one of my favorites, but it's just
she wasn't
not
bad
great.
Elektra in that movie.
Yeah,
either.
it's
They
just
gave her, like,
I don't know the storyline. It's just not that interesting the way they did it. I don't know.
Would you watch the movie for the soundtrack, or did you just listen to like the soundtrack?
I watched the movie and heard the soundtrack, and I was like, oh, okay, I like the music. And so that's kind of what kept me watching it, I guess, but it just didn't end good. So,
okay,
yeah.
Chris?
I had Man of Steel. I do not think it's a good movie, but even if you think it's a good movie, I still think that a lot of people think that I think people should think, that the score like far surpasses what you're seeing on screen. They made what you're seeing on screen so like dull and kind of lifeless for a movie about hope for some reason. But man, did Hans Zimmer know what he was doing with the track there. He took the same similar like tones and notes from John Williams' classic Superman score, and he slowed it down, changed it up, and made this very sentimental, moody score that was both like very, very powerful, like of building power that you can hear in the score, that's also like matched up with this very like delicate, like, I don't know, sentimental, like, I don't know, like it's a theme you hear.
Yeah,
you hear it in Batman vs. Superman whenever they want you to feel something.
Exactly.
Well, we might get copyright. Don't do that. But it's such a great, and it's building. It's very like the fact that he can balance both delicacy and power at the same time. That's pretty much what Superman is. He deals with, I mean, he's delicate, I guess. He's like a flower. Hear me out. Hear me out. They both need a red sun to grow, and I don't know. But no, I think that Hans Zimmer's score was fantastic, and it was very. It was there's a lot of variety to it as well, and it still kind of harkened back to what people think when they think of a Superman theme. It seemed like he was the only one trying in that movie. That's just me. I don't know.
Is it disappointing to you, like when you're watching a movie and you realize it, because I feel like it's across the board, you have this moment you're like, this music is great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking forward to when this soundtrack drops and I can buy it. Is it disappointing when you're also realizing the movie's not that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you can if you hear like bits of the soundtrack before seeing the movie.
It sounded like a dumb question. Obviously, it's a disappointment.
No, yeah,
the movie's bad.
There's a
yeah,
disconnect, and that's weird because like what you're hearing, like if you're watching a movie and you'd rather close your eyes and just like focus on one aspect.
Not a good sign.
You're right.
For a visual media, not a good sign.
Yeah.
And I know, like for me, my example that I brought was One Day, which I believe is still available on Netflix. It's great music, and the movie was okay. Like, it had great visuals, like the setting was beautiful. Whoever the set decorator did a great job, and the acting was, I thought it was great. Music phenomenal. I bought some of the title, the main pieces.
Yeah.
But the movie just wasn't that good, and it was such a disappointment because this music was phenomenal. I listened to it like all the time, and it didn't.
What was it
hit.
like? Is it like classic old style Hollywood?
I'll show it to you after. It's
Okay,
just,
all right.
it's great. There's these moments where it just swells, and it's like this beautiful like European landscape, and they're driving along the country roads, and it's great. Movie just wasn't that good. It was like a little bit of a letdown. So now, Beth, I know you had another example that you had brought.
Australia. So for the movie, I thought it's just very disappointing because the acting is awesome. I think the actors are great. I think the setting is great, costumes, everything, because it's almost like a Western-y type feel to it.
Yeah, it was a weird movie.
Yeah, I feel like the music went really well with the theme, with that kind of very like action-packed Western-y, but still can like slow it down sometimes type of thing. So that's why I like the music for it. Again, it's kind of music you would hear in a theme park, almost like Indiana Jones or something, is what it reminded me of. But the movie, just once you watch it at the end, you're just kind of like, well, I didn't get anything from that. Why did I just watch that? So it's just kind of disappointing. I think it could have maybe been better writing. Like you said, it's kind of an odd movie.
I saw it once, and it kind of lifted away in the. I don't really remember exactly the high points of it, but I mean, like when you have Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman in a movie, you don't think it's going to be bad.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It definitely wasn't them.
Exactly, and it's just not memorable. Is the thing. I think it had the potential to be memorable, but it just wasn't.
All right, I think that's a good example, and it is such a shame when it's like the music is so great. Seeing a trend, theme park music.
Yeah.
Kind of up your, yeah.
I think I just like action-packed stuff. I don't know.
Stuff you can walk around in the park.
Yeah.
Chris, you brought another good. I thought this was a great point, the one you brought up, pirates.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't care for. I like the first two Pirates movies. I was disappointed with that World's End, and I thought On Stranger Tides really maybe not. It shouldn't have been done. Maybe they should have waited. Just stop it. World's
We're
End's
on the
not
same
that.
page.
I know. Okay. All right. I just like it's still. I like watching the movie. It's not that great when you look at
No,
the
the fourth
grand
one's
scheme
bad.
of things.
It's bad.
No,
Okay.
I didn't say the fourth
No.
one. I thought the third one.
Oh,
was
I like
the
the
third
third
one.
one.
I love the
That's
third one.
his
Yes.
problem.
Yes, I
No.
do like it. It was a great way to end a trilogy.
Okay, anyway.
All right. Anyway. He's like.
Disagree with me or not? There's a fan base with me like, yeah, go,
But
man.
the Pirates, all the Pirates movies have a great score. Can we all agree?
Yes,
on that?
yes,
Are we all on
fantastic
equal footing
music.
now?
Yeah.
All right,
Also great theme park music. If you
Yes.
Well, that's because it originated at a theme park.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it is.
no, it's Pirates movies have been around for ever since Hollywood was making big Hollywood adventure summer
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
It's a staple, and the music is so important to that because the music in Pirates movies, all Pirates movies, not just Pirates of the Caribbean, are supposed to be like adrenaline filled. They're supposed to be like the epitome of adventure. They're supposed to be like the sounds you hear are supposed to be like almost characters in and of themselves. It is so easy to it's easy to hum some themes from like John Williams or whatnot in portions, but this might be me, but like when it comes to a pirate score, like it's like I know the whole thing because like the whole thing is like one big like sweeping like adventurous melody. Yeah. Again, copyright. Yeah. So I mean, I think that it was really cool to see the whole trajectory of Pirates because it started off with like one composer, and then for some reason he didn't do it. Hans Zimmer stepped in for the next three, possibly five. I'm not actually sure about that.
I
so
think he might be
don't quote me.
attached to the fifth film. That's something I'd look up.
What was cool that he did about when he kept on going on and changing up the score, and what I like about 3 and 4, not great movies in my opinion, but what he did with the scores in those is he took the pirate theme that sounded very like Caribbean or whatnot. It sounded like it was in that zone, and then when they went to places like, did they actually go to Spain?
Oh no, but I know what you're talking about because they go
has,
to Beijing or something.
They go to
right?
Singapore.
Oh, Singapore.
And the
Singapore,
Singapore
yeah.
track is fantastic, and you don't it's at first you're like, am I listening to a different movie? But he's somehow able to make everything sound like
It fits
still
really
in
well,
that
yeah.
style. Yeah.
No, that's
Almost
a
like
good
yeah.
a theme park, right?
Almost like a theme park.
Okay.
And judging from Matt's enthusiastic recreations of the, are you dropping a cover album of all the songs?
Yes, I am actually.
Okay, all right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to be playing a game. We've been talking a lot about remakes on the show, so it's going to involve that. So don't forget to leave a live comments. You can play along and let us know some of your least favorite movies with amazing music. So stick around.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Do you like sports? Do you like reading about sports? Then we got a sports blog just for you. Stay on my peripherals. That's not hard. Hitting the field.
The first student-run sports blog.
For sports fans.
By sports fans.
See, it's all about the product shot.
Where do you want me to stand?
Don't talk though. I want them to see the hole.
Hitting the field. We cover football. We cover basketball. And so much more.
He's out. By sports reporters and Meech.
What up? Watch the show and read the sports blog. Hitting
Ah, field.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Back, everybody, to Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Nick DiLorenzo. We have the panelists here once again. We have Chris Nielsen, Beth Brewster, Matt Diaz joining us for a little bit of a game. First off, though, my mother commented and agreed they did a good job marketing-wise with the Thor 3 trailer and didn't reveal too much of the plot. So good job, Mom. I agree.
I agree, Nick's mom.
All right, back to the game. We've been talking a lot about remakes on the show, and we thought it'd be fun if we kind of did a game revolved around that. So the rules are going to be, it has to have been a film prior. So like even if the movie was based off of a TV show, as long as there wasn't a movie then made and then another movie made, it will not be considered a remake. And it's going to be 1 point, super simple. It's going to be a yes or no.
Okay.
And any questions before we begin?
I don't think so, but they might pop up as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's fine.
So
I'll
just
happily
to be
answer.
clear, I just want to be yes. So we write yes if it was
Yes
a
or
remake.
no?
Yes if it was a
For
remake,
both
and no if it was
TV and movies?
just movies.
Just
Just
movies.
movies.
Yeah, we're not
Okay,
dealing with
okay.
TV. Yeah.
No, not
All right,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I'm ready
No
for
TV.
this. This is my first game, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Creator of many games,
Yeah.
first time participating.
Playing one, yeah. So.
And we all know Matt's a big fan of games, so I'm excited to see how this one turns out. All right, so we're going to start right off the bat. Ocean's 11. Was it a remake or was it not? Are we all ready? Mm-hmm. All right, Matt, we'll start with you.
I said yes.
Yes, Frank Sinatra was in the other one.
Yes. All right, correct. Everyone
Rat
gets a
Pack.
point.
Yeah.
Started off with a little easier one. It was a remake. Yeah.
Love those movies.
Yeah, that is your favorite, Chris.
It is. I'm not sure my favorite movie.
All right, so up
Oh,
next we have
Big one.
The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Was it a remake or was it not? I feel like I'm
I should know
gonna find
this.
myself saying that every single time. All right, Chris, we'll start with you this time. No, Beth.
I said yes. I feel like there is another movie called.
All right.
I said yes because of the Universal monster movies. There had to be a Mummy movie back then.
Yeah.
This franchise, it is not a remake. This is
I
knew
knew
it was a
Mummy
trick.
movie. I just didn't
It
know
was a trick.
based
It's
on
the Tom
that.
Cruise movie that's
Dang
coming
it.
out.
yeah.
So wait, is that considered a
So
remake?
Chris gets the point.
Yeah, the
The Tom Cruise one would be
yeah.
considered a remake
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're remaking the franchise. Yeah, and they've
Okay,
acknowledged
so
it.
I guess the okay,
reboot.
all right, fair, all right. I'm not gonna get into it. All right.
Look, Matt, you didn't win. All right, calm down, calm down. All right, up next we have Three Men and a Baby with Tom Selleck. Not the best photo. That's my fault. Little grainy.
3 Men and a Baby. Wow. Okay.
All right, ready? All right, Beth, we'll start with you this time. Mix it up. All right, Chris,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, all got a point. Yeah, that's correct. It was a remake. Yeah. All right, moving on. The Heartbreak Kid, starring Ben Stiller. And the name escapes me of the actress, but
I actually haven't seen this movie, so
Yeah,
you said I'd know all of them.
you're aware of it though, right?
No, I haven't been aware of this movie.
Oh, you didn't hear about it?
Honestly.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. I haven't
Heard of
seen it, but I
haven't
knew about
seen
it. All right, Matt, we'll start with you.
I said no because I feel like Ben Stiller's an original guy. That was my thought
Yeah, I
process.
said no.
I also said no.
It is a remake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, at least we all said no.
I guess yeah, we all had the same
No
thought.
points for you.
No, no points for you.
All right, Get Smart. Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway.
Wait.
Pausing for Mr.
Okay.
Diaz. Okay, Matt,
I said no because it was a TV series, if I'm not mistaken.
Beth.
I said yes. I didn't think
Okay.
about that.
It's no, it's TV series.
Yeah, it was a TV
I
series.
didn't
Okay.
think about that.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yes, I said yes
He
first.
said yeah.
Mac-
That sounds shady.
Yeah,
so
I was like, wait.
Go with your gut. Go with your gut.
All right, Matt gets the point on that one.
What?
What?
I got a point too.
He got,
Oh.
Chris got it too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
sorry, that was my bad then.
I was the one
All
who
right.
said it was a TV show.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched the TV show.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope they're doing a better job in the back.
Control room.
Keep up to date with
Both
scores.
Chris and I got a point for that one. Yes.
Playback.
All right,
right?
Chris has 4, Beth has 2, and Matt has 3.
1. Okay.
Okay, moving right along. We Bought a Zoo.
It comes with the laughs.
I know like everyone's thinking like I just picked my favorite,
Yep.
but it's not how it went down. All right, Chris.
No.
Beth?
No?
No.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I thought that might throw you
He just
off.
wanted to slip
Yeah,
that
you
one
just wanted
in
to slip that
there.
one in there. Yeah. I wasn't
You
sure.
didn't do the
That's
picture
what I was
where
thinking.
it looks like Matt Damon woke up with a hangover and went, "What? We bought a zoo?" That's what the cover of the DVD looks like. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's-
Wait, Nick, this was your
You
favorite
like
film,
the
though,
film.
right?
Yeah,
one of my
that's what I was
favorites.
thinking.
One of your
I didn't
favorite,
do
yeah.
that
I thought it
either.
might throw you off, but
No,
that's
like you
what
can't
guys.
fool us, Nick.
Okay, The Tourist.
Johnny Depp.
Ricky
Andrew
Gervais'
Jolie.
favorite film.
A movie about spies. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Chris, we'll start with you.
Indeed.
I said no.
I also said no.
It is a remake.
But it wasn't called The Tourist. It was
No,
called something
yeah, it
else.
was
Yeah.
had a different name, but
I had a feeling that plot would have been similar, but we
all right. So that was points to
To me.
you. All right,
Come
up
on,
next
guys.
we have
Come on.
The Intern,
Oh man. Okay.
Nancy Meyers film with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
Is this a sequel to Dirty Grandpa?
Beth, we'll start with you.
I
don't
got
know.
one. I guess I said it.
Oh, sorry.
You just-
you looked ready.
No.
No,
Okay.
well, I just said it. It doesn't matter. I wasn't ready, but I just said. I just
Matt,
guessed.
what
I
do
also
you-
said no. I don't know.
No. Okay, Chris.
I also said no.
It is not a remake.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. I didn't. I promise I did not lie.
All right. Up next we have A Beautiful Mind.
Doesn't look so beautiful from the picture you chose.
You know
Looks
what? It can be deceiving
It
when you're
can-
looking at
I
a
guess
smaller
it's
screen.
a little blurry.
All right, Matt, we'll start with you.
I said yes.
I said no.
I said no.
It is not a remake.
Ah,
I told you.
I'm just playing one big
There
guessing
can
game at
only
this
be
point.
one. Russell Crowe.
All right, up next we have Flubber with Robin Williams. A fan of that one, Matt? Are you?
I'm a fan of that one. Yeah. Robin Williams classic.
Yeah. No, all right, Chris, we'll start with you.
Yes.
I said yes.
I said no.
It is a remake.
It
It's
is a remake.
The Absent-Minded
Absent-Minded
Professor.
Professor,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am not. I'm not doing well at all here.
Good at creating games.
Yeah, I
not
guess.
the best
Yeah.
at playing
You
them.
know, I should just be.
Yeah.
You want to switch real quick?
Oh, feeling the heat, are we? All right. Up next, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine and Steve Martin. Great movie if you haven't seen it.
Totally guessing at this point.
It's so hard to believe that was Michael Caine.
All right, Matt,
I said no.
I
Beth.
said yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. So Beth and Chris, you get the point. And they're remaking it
That's
again.
But it wasn't called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, right?
I believe it was actually.
It
oh,
was?
oh no, it might. No, that one had a different title. The new one, I believe, still has the same.
Oh
title.
yeah, because they're going to be remaking
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But there was
But
like
this was a remake.
Gotcha.
Yeah, still great movie. Okay, next up we have An Affair to Remember.
A remake of this? Affair to remember. Okay.
All right, Matt.
I said no.
I said no.
No.
It is a remake
What?
of an even older movie. Yeah.
That's why I was like, it's hard to believe they're going older than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's Cary Grant in color, not black.
Oh.
Oh, my mom's playing along. She got that one right.
Hey!
Good job, Mom.
I'm glad you're
we
playing.
did it.
Yeah, we did not.
Up next, we have Going in Style, just released. Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Alan Arkin.
Does it count if it's a ripoff of another movie? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Beth, we'll start with you.
I said no. I have no
All right,
idea.
Chris.
No.
It has to be. I said
It
yeah.
is a remake.
Okay, all right.
Of a
I got
movie
one
of
on
the
the
same
board.
name. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Under the same name?
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's no
So
way this
point,
was
point
not.
to Matt.
All right, I'm slowly catching up here. Watch
Moving
out,
on,
guys.
Night at the Museum. Are we ready? All right. Matt?
I said no. Again, Ben Stiller's more of an original guy.
Yeah,
Beth?
I said no.
You're right. Not a remake. Yeah. Okay. So next up we have Dinner
Very
for
confident about
Schmucks.
this Ben Stiller
Yeah,
thing.
I'm pretty going with it.
Steve Carell and Paul Rudd. All right. You ready?
No. Yes.
Okay. Beth?
I said yes.
All right. Chris?
Yes.
It is.
Yes?
It is a
Okay.
remake.
I
yeah.
knew that
I
one.
believe
I
the
just went
original
with my
title was
gut.
The Dinner Game.
The dinner game?
It was something. It was like a foreign movie though.
All right. Up next we have Meet Joe Black. Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins.
Not to be confused with Jack. Meet Joe Black.
All right, Chris, we'll start with you.
No.
No.
No?
It is a remake.
It is.
What?
Yeah, I don't have the information on that one. But I do know it's a remake.
Okay.
I double checked it all beforehand. But
You have
I
all the
didn't-
power here.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. We're going with your belief. Yeah.
Up next, Grown Ups. We have the Adam Sandler and David Spade, Chris Rock, Kevin James film from
Not
2010, I
Ben
believe.
Stiller in it. Okay.
All right, Matt.
I'm gonna say yes, because
Beth?
yeah,
I said yes.
I hope not.
It is not a remake.
it's not
Yeah,
okay.
original.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so Chris gets the point.
Cool.
Putting comedians together in a movie, never been done before.
Up next, Father of the Bride.
I should know this.
All right, Chris, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a remake.
Yeah.
Yay.
It is a remake. Wonderful.
You thought you were gonna get us on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I thought Beth would be
I
more
thought
certain.
I would know, and then I was like, is it?
All right, moving on. We have Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Are we done? All right, Matt.
I'm gonna say no, because Ben Stiller doesn't do remakes.
I'm so glad you kept saying that.
It is.
It is.
It is a remake. Oh man.
Danny Kaye stars in the original. It's very different, but it is.
Because I know you like this movie too, and
Yeah.
you kept saying Ben Stiller only does originals, and I'm like, I really hope he
All
does
right.
Walter Mitty.
All right, wait, we're gonna do final score. So final score: Chris, you had 15.
Okay.
Beth has 10, and Matt has 9. Woo! Good job. Good job across the board. Thank you to all for tuning in, and we'll be here next week. Continue to play online. We'll be commenting and interacting there. Make sure to follow us on social media. UCF BTC is our Twitter and Snapchat. Like our Facebook, and follow us there. And we'll be back next week. So thanks again for watching.